the ToastMasters International organization, and I am going to bring up Elizabeth to talk about that, and then we're going to get them started.
Good morning and welcome. So Toastmasters International and Rotary International formed a strategic alliance in early 2020 to offer mutual professional development, communication, and leadership training opportunities for their members. This partnership leverages the strengths of both organizations, providing Rotarians with Toastmasters public speaking training and offering Toastmasters members new networking community service opportunities. So I'm happy to welcome a bunch of people from our local Toastmasters club. We have Warren Coolidge and Carol Coolidge and Raj, I didn't catch your last name, Raj Rawal and Annie Paumgarten and Kathleen Culver and Kaomi Taylor. Did I get everyone? Welcome, and we look forward to your presentation. So I hand it to you.
Oh, we're ready to go?
Ready to go?
Actually, yes.
Good morning. Going to just read our club mission statement. We provide a supportive and positive learning experience in which members are empowered to develop communication and leadership skills, resulting in greater self-confidence and personal growth.
My name is Carol Coolidge. I'm president of ToastMasters this year. Looking at this,
You need to hold it closer to your mouth.
Good morning. My name is Carol Coolidge. I'm president of ToastMasters this year. And with me, I bring a team of diligent Toastmasters to present in mock meeting. As I call your name, you raise your hand. We had Annie Paumgarten, Kathleen Culver, Kaomi Taylor, Warren Coolidge, and Raj Rawal.
Don't forget yourself.
Carol Coolidge. And we're here today because of the unity that we have with the Rotary. We offer you a platform to increase your speaking skills and better your ability to speak, communicate, and associate with us in a friendly, non-friendly, safe environment. So I will move on to the next person. Our Toastmaster, Warren Coolidge.
Let you go. You want to hear me okay?
Yeah.
I'm usually pretty loud anyway. You probably hear me without it.
People online can't. We need it for Zoom.
Okay.
And accessibility.
A couple of things I just want to kind of add. We would usually go through an explanation of the roles, but you guys are smart. I think you'll see what we do. It's pretty obvious. And one of the things, I don't know if Elizabeth got a chance, we're looking for a couple of volunteers for our table topics program. And it's a 1 to 2 minute impromptu speech. And we do that to help you learn to talk comfortably off the cuff without knowing what the question is. You find out and you think about it and you do a 1 to 2 minute blurb on it, and we time everything. You'll see the timing lights right there as we've got. Short of that, welcome to our meeting. And I think without further ado, we will get this rolling. I would like to introduce Kaomi Taylor to come on up with the word of the day.
Hello again, folks. I've been here before and I appreciate you welcoming this group and me again. I was here from the Museum of Names, so you may remember that. And I have been working with Toastmasters because it's this great program to help people public speak. And that's what I'm trying to do about names. So I've been so grateful to have been a Toastmaster for, I don't know, maybe 6 or 7 months at this point. So that's been great. And the part of our meeting that I am demonstrating for you now is the word of the day, which is a part of the meeting where we either learn a new word or we think about new meanings of old words. And because it is Celebrate Your Name Week next week, and because my thing is names, our word of the day is nickname. I'd write it on a board if we had a board. And so nickname is something that we probably have all had in our lives. Throughout our lives, we may have chosen nicknames for ourselves. We may have had them chosen for us. You might recognize some common nicknames: mom, dad, sis, bro. So I want to talk about the word nickname. It comes from eek. Eek name, and that's not eek like a mouse. That is eek like eking something out, like eking out a living or eking out something extra. The word eek is Old English for extra. And so an eek name in the 13th through 16th century turned into a nickname. And that's why we have that word. A nickname can be an empowering thing. I want to tell you a story very briefly of a mentee that I had. She was 13 years old. We'll call her Monica. She decided her nickname was going to be Skittles. And I was like, who decides their own nickname and what is all of this about? Well, she went to school and convinced everybody at school to call her Skittles. So that was very empowered of her. But then she decided she didn't want to be Skittles. So she convinced everybody to call her Cupcake. How's that for empowerment? Empower yourself with a nickname. Thanks.
Next, we will have our first speaker. Kathleen, I'd like you to come up. Raj, I'd also like you to come up and introduce our speaker with the.
Use the microphone.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
We have people online.
Understood. And, should I repeat what I said or?
No.
Okay. So come on up, guys. And Raj, here's the microphone. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm the evaluator for today's speaker. Our speaker today is Kathleen Culver. And as your evaluator, I want to give you a little bit of background on Kathleen. Kathleen is a 35+ year professional in technology, involved with innovations and taking it all the way to making them usable. Some of those may be in our lives today. She says she's an engineer, but really what she has done throughout her career is help shepherd or manage large initiatives and use something called project management. Now she teaches project management and advocating it for everyday life. You have a wedding coming up, you have a picnic coming up, then you can use project management. And she's pretty passionate about this, by the way. That's on her. Let me tell you, the speech she's going to give today was prompted by, we have 6 different tracks in Toastmasters, and one of them is presentation mastery. And it was about mentors and mentee. So the idea came up. She said, oh, I'm going to talk about Joe. She wanted to capture that while Joe was humble, he was also revered throughout her company. She thought, would he do well today? And she doesn't think so, because self-promotion instead of results seems to matter more. With that said, let me introduce to you Kathleen Culver, and her title today is Credit or Results. Credit or Results, Kathleen Culver. Kathleen?
Thanks, Raj. Early in my career, a question was posed to me. And it's a question I've revisited over and over again over the past 35 years, over the next 35 years. And the question was, what motivates you? Is it credit or is it results? And the person who raised this question was Joe Maranzano. And I'd like to tell you how I met Joe. It was my first week on the job at the company I was going to be at for the next 35 years. And it's a big company, like 100,000 people are in this company. And I'm in an organization that does research and development, which is about 5,000 people. And that first week was really rough because I had all of these new acronyms, hundreds of acronyms I suddenly had to memorize. And I'm meeting all of these new people, and I'm hearing references to dozens of other people. And one name seemed to pop up a lot, Joe. My boss, he would come in and check out the people in his group, and you would hear him ask, "Is Joe like that? Are you sure Joe is aligned with this idea? Or what's Joe going to say about this?" So I knew Joe was some sort of player. All right. The end of the week, we had a big organizational meeting where the research and development big execs were going to give updates on what their centers were doing. And there were 5 execs giving their talks. The first 5, they had nice suits on and they were very stiff and they were very formal about giving their updates. And then the 5th person walks on stage. He actually kind of shambles up on stage. He's smiling, and looking at everybody and nodding and very relaxed and happy to be there. He's still putting on a suit jacket too. And he gets to his spot where, you're supposed to do the talking. And he pauses and he tucks his tie with his hands. He says, "Hi, I'm Joe Maranzano." And he proceeds to give his update by saying, "Oh, Jack over there, he's been doing this. And Sally over here, oh, you got to check out the progress she's made there." And I'm looking at this guy thinking, oh, I want to work for him. So fast forward 5 years, and I am working for him. And we're doing something challenging back then. We're trying to convince these software engineers, these software developers, to do requirements before coding, use something called use cases before actually sitting down on the computer and clickety-clacketing with getting all of the code out. And these guys, they don't want to talk to people. They just want to code. So getting them to talk to people that might actually use their software was a real challenge. And we've been meeting with lots of organizations, Joe and I, to convince them that this is a really important thing to do. And we had a meeting with one of our staunchest holdouts, we'll call him Brutus, and members of his team. And it was kind of like this type of a meeting. People were wearing very different outfits at the time. And Brutus gets up and he's like, "We got to do something different. I found this great approach. It's called use cases. And it's going to really help us change the way we do software development and make us much more effective." And everyone in the room is like, "Oh, okay, yeah." And he proceeds to explain how it's going to be done. Now, after the meeting, Joe and I were walking back to our offices, and Joe says, "Wow, that was a great outcome." And he pauses and he looks at me and he goes, "Well, you don't look so happy." Well, I'm annoyed. I'm thinking to myself, Brutus just took credit for all the work that we've just been doing. But I wasn't going to say that. Joe pauses and he looks at me and says, "Kathleen, you're early in your career. And you're going to have to figure out what motivates you. Is it credit or is it results? Now, don't get me wrong. You got to get credit because you need it in order to advance and succeed. But what fires up? What's in your gut? Is it results or is it credit?" Now, I'm a results girl. I like making things happen, but I do crave credit. And I go back to Joe's words. Anytime I have to share credit with someone I may not like, or if I have to do something which may not yield a lot of credit. Joe went on to become a Bell Labs Fellow, which is one of the highest technical achievements in the industry at the time. I went on to deliver a lot of results over the next 30 years for the company and at home too. More results than if I hadn't gotten the advice from someone who tucks their tie into their pants and asked me credit or results.
Thank you, Kathleen. Excellent speech. Next, we would normally have our humorist, and we're going to do that quickly, but I don't see Mike Bro here today. I don't think he was able to make it. So I have a very quick joke for you. First of all, my last name is Coolidge. Yes, I'm related to Silent Cow, and that is what he was known as, Silent Cow. One day, a father and his son got in to see Calvin Coolidge in the Oval Office. That wouldn't happen today, but this goes back to the 1920s. You could do things like that. As the son is getting prepared to go in to see Calvin, he's going in by himself. The father says, I'll make a bet with you. I bet Calvin Coolidge will not say more than 3 words to you. The son, being a young kid, told Calvin Coolidge that story before he said a word. And so Calvin says to him, you lose. Now, I, unlike my relative, am not silent, and you've probably figured that one out already. Next, we have our table topics. And Annie, I'm volunteering you to be the first table topics customer. Carol, why don't you come on up and do table topics? And one quick question, Elizabeth, did you find some volunteers?
At least one.
Okay, I'll let you do that.
She'll need the mic.
And you need that.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. And our first victim is Annie from God. Annie, come on up. Annie, describe your first car in detail. The make, model, and year. Tell us something, a funny story about what happened to you when you first drove that car.
Humor. My goal is probably to not be memorable. But, my first car was a Subaru, and it was, let's see, 1990. And the first time I got in the car, I ended up pulling out of the driveway and driving on the wrong side of the road until I encountered a car and pulled to the other side. That's about all I can come up with.
Thank you, Annie. Do we have a volunteer from the audience that would like to try?
I volunteered, but I thought I'd like to try.
Okay. Ted, we introduced Ted. Ted, what is the best piece of advice that a friend gave you, and why is it important in your life? Microphone.
The best piece of advice a friend ever gave me and why it's important in my life, that would be, I was in a long distance relationship that was very one-sided, in that I think she was using me as a safety net in case she couldn't find somebody else to marry and then she'd have to move back to Vermont. My friends started referring to her as the manipulator. And I finally at one point said, Matt, you don't get it. You don't get what she's like. And she had just done something that was not was not other centered. And she ended up, so I was describing that and I was upset with it. And my friend said, you can't, this is, why aren't you seeing this? And I said, no, you don't get it. She's not that kind of person. And he said, dude, we're in our third. Dude, how long are you going to say she's not the kind of person who did exactly what you just described? She must be that kind of person. She just did that kind of thing. Wow. That's great. And the relationship ended when she called me and said she was engaged.
Do we have time for one more?
Sure.
Okay. Who wants to take a stab?
He had his hand up before. I saw it.
Let's go, our guys. Terrific.
Always talk.
Cal. Describe a futuristic car. What accessories would you have and why are they important to you?
The right guy.
So it's the future. And I wake up in the morning, my alarm goes off, but instead of it being an alarm, I smell fresh coffee being brewed in my house and the blinds go up and there's beautiful sunshine outside, and pick up my device that I have. And this controls my whole house. I get, some breakfast started with my breakfast program, and my house is making my breakfast for me now. And I look at my car and I say, oh yeah, I'm gonna have this car today. And I push the button for this car, and I walk outside after I get my coffee and my breakfast and everything, and there's this car sitting there, and it's a 63 Chevy Impala. And it's got fender feelers, like whiskers. And there's like 40 of them. There's like 10 on each wheel. And when you pull up to the curb, it goes, it takes about 2 miles to the gallon. That was my grandmother's car, the first car I ever drove to relate it back to the other one. And I wouldn't change that car for the world. It's a great car.
Excellent table topics. Next, we have our evaluator, Raj. Are you ready? Okay, come on up, Raj.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. Kathleen, wonderful, wonderful speech. Really enjoyed. She was at ease in front of the audience. Lots of gestures, even with the mic, which we don't use with the club. So it was a little bit trickier, and I noticed she did very well. Love the fact that you put the tie in. Just walking up here, she caught her attention. What is this weird long hanging tie? Green default ties, right? Right, I've seen a lot. Great way to capture our attention. Great way to keep us engaged through your gestures with hands, her face. She was smiling and she was looking at all the audience. Sometimes people are looking up there, they're looking at the floor, or they zero in on a person, and it's like they're having a conversation with them versus the whole audience. So nice job in doing all of that. Great storytelling. Really, when you're giving a speech, you want to make it memorable. So it's got an opening, a body, and an end. And you had a title, and you close with that title. One small suggestion, when you leave, you could potentially leave us with a question that says, and what do you think the world is like today? Is it about promotion, or is it about results? And which side are you on? When you leave an audience with a question that lets them think about it, you've engaged them even further when you're off the stage. And it gives them something to chew on when they go. I also love when she got talking about Brutus, just the name, Brutus. Well, she was no longer friendly and smiling. She was very formal and proper and came using the props that you have is a real advantage and a plus when you're giving a speech. So overall, terrific job, Kathleen. Looking forward to your next speech. Thank you. Okay, I see that I'm the timer. I will give you the timer's report. By the way, one of the things we do in Toastmasters is we have many duties, sometimes 10, 15 different roles between speakers, evaluators, timers, word master, Toastmaster, so on.
Talk about the lights.
And as a timer, everything is timed. So we have lights, and some of you probably noticed the lights were going on green, yellow, and red. So if the speech is to be 5 to 7 minutes, at 5, it turns green, at 6, yellow, and at 7, red. And it's really about people from all walks of life joining Toastmasters, where it's the judgment-free zone. There are people like me who are retired. There are people who are students and careers and so on. And everybody's there to practice, to learn, to watch. And it's really like swimming, right? You can read a book on swimming, but you're really not going to jump in the water yet. If you do, I would caution you. You got to get wet. You got to get wet. So if you're going to get to be a better speaker, you got to get up here. You got to give a speech. And really being able to prepare it, deliver it, get some feedback from others, being able to do it in time, they're all part of becoming a more effective speaker. Our results today. Kathleen's speech came in 6:49. Nice job. She's supposed to be between 5 to 7. Annie, our table topic is supposed to be 1 to 2 minutes. Annie was just a hair under at 50 seconds. Ted, it's like you've been doing this for a while. 1 minute and 15. And Cal, Back to the Future. 1:18. Very nice job. Thank you.
Yeah, I saw.
So as Toastmaster, I get to close the meeting, but before I do that, what I'd like to know is if any of you have any questions that you'd like us to answer while you're all sitting here. Does anybody have a question about? Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just wondering where the name Toastmaster originally came from.
Can you speak to that when you come up? Okay, I am not sure. I can tell you though that the club was formed back in, I believe it's 1920. So it's over 100 years. And as far as the Toastmaster, I think maybe because, to give a toast and to become a master at doing that, but that's my guess. I'm not sure, but I think that might kind of play into that. Originally, it was men only. But that changed pretty quickly in the late 20s, I think. Or maybe it was a little bit later, but the club has gone through a lot of evolution over the years. Any other questions?
Where's the term toast come from? Do you know?
I don't know the answer to that. It is a good question. I mean, how do you relate toasted bread to a toast? But we have a lot of words in the English language that are like that. So what can I say? But I don't know the answer to that question. And one last note, we will be available after the meeting because we're just about out of time, but we'll make ourselves available for any questions that you may have. If you, in your package, there's some information too on the second and third page. One is we are having an open house meeting, 6 p.m. at dealer.com on Wednesday, March 4th. And you'll see that in your package. Carol?
I want to end the meeting on a very special note. Robert G. Winter gifted us her Toastmaster material years ago. And we're gonna put it to good use as we expand our program. Thank you, Barbara. Welcome, Marion. And thank you, Toastmasters.
Maybe the answer to that toast question is in those books. I don't know.
Thank you so much, Masters, for being here. In gratitude, we will make a donation to the Williston Central School Mentoring Program. And so there's a little thank you from them. And we would love for you to pick our winning raffle ticket. Would you like to do it, Carol? And then read the last three numbers.
The last three numbers are 5, 9, 1.
All right. Thank you.
Okay.
And we would also like to invite all of you Toastmasters to come to our upcoming fundraiser, which is a story slam. And so we're looking for 5-minute storytellers, which, hey, we know some people now who are really good at that. Our theme this year is the snowstorm. It's happening March 21st from 6 to 8 at the Williston Central School. Tickets are $20. All funds go to heating assistance and other Rotary charities. And Sherry, up there at the table, is selling tickets. So if you buy them today, you don't have to pay the fees that you would pay if you did it online. So $20 tickets with Sherry. You can buy as many as you want and like give them to your friends or sell them to your friends. We're looking to fill the auditorium, which is 326 people.
Remind them of the theme.
The theme, yes, the snowstorm. I will remind you again. Snowstorm stories. You all live in Vermont. You should have some. All right. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. And you guys were awesome. We weren't sure what was going to happen, but it really came out great. Ted is one of our best speakers here, and he's a lawyer, and he did a great job. Kel did a great job. What many people don't know about Kel is because of your question, he's actually written a science fiction story. So it was a very good tie-in. I'm going to bring back Elizabeth.
For my announcement,
Yes, please.
buy tickets for the Story Slam. But also we have a couple other things coming up. So it's time to be recruiting students for RILA, the Rotary Youth Leadership Academy, and that happens in June right after school ends, but we're looking for applicants now. So start spreading the word. It's for 10th graders, people who are finishing 10th grade right now, and we will send them up to Linden to learn a whole bunch of leadership skills and probably some speaking skills too. I'll be putting all that information out today to the guidance counselors so they can get it when they're back in school on Monday. Yeah, Barb.
One of the books that I gave to Carol was about junior Toastmasters. When my kids were over at South Burlington Middle School, I ran a Toastmasters program for the kids in 7th and 8th grade. And it might be fun for Toastmasters to touch base with RILA and offer their services.
Okay, so if you didn't hear that, there's also junior Toastmasters, and Barb ran a junior Toastmasters club when her kids were there at that age, middle school. And I don't know if you guys have junior Toastmasters too, but kids need to learn how to speak, that's for sure. My other announcement is I just registered our club for the town fair and Green Up Day that's coming up at the beginning of May. So that's only about 2 months away, and I'm planning to do our annual plant giveaway again. So if you want to start some plants to give away, then it's almost time. So keep that in mind, and let me know in the next couple weeks if you are going to be starting plants so I can get kind of idea of how many we have. That's the first Saturday in May. I don't have the date off the top of my head, but 2 months away.
Elizabeth. So the temperature's getting a little bit warmer and the sunlight is shining a little bit more each day, and that can only mean that Easter is right around the corner. So, we have an event every year, so please take out your phones and save the date for Saturday, April 4th. You can block in 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. For those of you that are new to the club, I'll give a quick overview. The Thursday, that's a Saturday, Easter, of course, is on Sunday. So on the Saturday before Easter, we have a massive Easter egg hunt at the central school. We cover the ground with, I don't count them, more than 1,000, maybe less than 2,000 eggs, whatever, a lot, basket. We usually get 150 to 200 kids, parents, grandparents, dogs, the entire neighborhood's come out. So it's a really fun opportunity for us to present what Rotary is all about in the community. Next week, I will bring some sign-up sheets. Here's how it works. On the Thursday before, there is no speaker. We eat our bagels quickly, we spread out the tables, and we fill over 1,000 eggs with candy. On the day of, there are some, and I will explain a little bit more when I bring the sign-up sheet next week, but we have egg hiders. Again, we're covering acres, little exaggeration, a lot of land at the school. So we need people, bodies to disperse. We need parade leaders. You're the Pied Piper with a little sign that says 5 and 6-year-olds follow me. You take people around to the hunt areas. It's a most dangerous job because these guys are trained to hunt. And some of them are, it's elbows up, baby. I mean, bring your hockey pads and stuff. So that part is really fun. We also will ask we try to get 25 baskets or so. We have specially marked eggs that are distributed around the site. So if a kid finds a specially marked Rotary egg, they bring it to the gazebo, and we have baskets as prizes. So many of you have generously donated. You can make them. Some people have made very nice baskets. You can buy them at a drugstore or a department store, something like that. So look for more information next week, and it's just around the corner. April 2 will be our stuff date. April 4 is all the fun. Thank you.
Yeah. Cool. Very good. Aaron, good morning.
Hello. For those of you who I know would love to help us feed our guests at the Story Slam, there are little lined pieces of paper with some sloppy handwriting on them at each of your tables. Please put your name down and sign up to bring snacks to the Story Slam. And we'll pressure you again next week and the week after and the week after. Thank you.
Thank you, Aaron. So before we bring Chris up to do Happy Finds, just want to make a reminder, Story Slam, Sherry, buy your tickets. If you didn't do the Club Runner mobile app for members here, just click on your phone. There is a sign up for ToastMasters here. So people, when you're leaving, please sign up for that. And there is nobody for bagels next week. So if you're a bagel eater, please sign up. Any other announcements that I missed? Chris? Oh no. Do you have a joke today, Chris?
That